G'day, how you going? Ian Apples here, Acrylic Guru from Australia. Welcome to my channel. I paint in acrylic and I like to show you what you can paint in acrylic as well. I'm going to get the size of the canvas and the colours running up the screen there. They're what I'm going to use in this tutorial. Now I'm going to bring you over here and show you just what I'm laying out here because it's going to be beautiful water, tree, leaf, foliage, depth and reflections. All right, so get on over here and I want to show you what we've got on here. I'm going to have my horizon area there. These two round arcs are just trees, but back here I'm going to have distant trees, a lot of depth getting in there. I want to create that depth. Now down here I've just got some soft body titanium white. There's nothing in it, it's on its own. I just want to prime up this top area there with this. No retarder, no needed. Because my canvas, I just want to prime this in with this. Coulda, woulda, shoulda used my putter on a brush, but I'm just trying something different. I'm just going to stroke it left and right and get it nice and evenly thin and massaged into that canvas tooth. Now down on my palette I have my French ultramarine blue and my quinacridone magenta, and I'm going to mix up a dark deep background purple colour with these. Now I've dried the canvas. I'm just going to get this put on top of all that white. Now I'm just going to brush it a nice, just getting it neat and even, that's all. That'll do. Now that's had to dry. I'm grabbing my filbert brush and just grabbing this paint again now, and to start putting the detail on there, starting with the darker stuff, because if we see any of this, we don't want to see it looking like that. We want to see it looking like foliage. So I'm just dabbing this over now. Okay, I'm just finishing off all this stamping motion with my filbert brush, getting that over there. Now this can be dried. Now what I'm going to do is start putting the background stuff on. The bottom I'm going to leave because the trees will be up here and there'll be trunks and depth. So I want to grab some of my Perylene green and mix it with my Viridian green, and I want to start from about here. I'm going to leave, say, this bit out because there's going to be a big tree there, so I want to just get bits of dark but leaving that purpley colour vibe that we've got there. So I'm pretty much coming like this, pretty much going all over here, getting it all done. Now I've left this bit out here because that's going to be the foreground one. I want to make that a different value of what's behind, so that's why I've left that corner out. Now I've dried that. I'm grabbing just the Perylene. I've put a little bit of white with it, not too much.
Oh, easy Ian, take it easy, don't put too much in there.
I know. Now within this, the very bottom is going to be dark. I want to just gingerly bring some of this down from there. Now I'm going to put this in areas where I feel, I know I want a nice V-shaped dark pocket here, pushing back from my forward tree. Now down here later on, if I feel that's too bright, I can always darken it back up. But I've just gone to I started with the Viridian green with some white in it, but I've just gone to the straight Viridian because I feel the white was making it too loud. When I put the other green on, I want this to pop. I do want to just darken this first bit that I put up there. I feel I've ruined it. I've sprayed my paints on the palette, so if I need to go back to them, they're not going to have an ugly skin on them. Now I've got my green oxide here. Dry your canvas so this will stick and not mud up. Now with this colour, we've got to make the shape of our trees. At the moment, we've just got a carpet of colours there, all flat. We've got to try and make bowls of them chunking out now. So I know I'm going to have a big foreground tree here. So from about here and over to this side, I want to create my balls of trees. So I'll start over here. I'll just leave something tucked in the background, and I want to make something like over here, bowling up. I'll just show you if I can get it happening. Get that bit there done, and then come in front of it, leaving some darks. The minute little bits of dark there, you might not quite see the difference yet, but when we gingerly highlight this colour, you'll be able to see the difference that you've made. So this is going to come down there, and then I'm going to bring something right over here, pushing those few back. Now it's kind of starting to take shape, but at the moment it's not quite 100% there because this still needs its highlights to create the gist of all that. Come right off your painting, just so it looks natural at the edge. It's not like boxed in. That's horrible when you see that. And if anything, you bow everything into the middle of your paintings, leaving some more darks there. Now, I don't want to bring this all the way down to the bottom because we're going to have some trunks here. So the tree foliage is going to stop about here and just slowly dingleberry itself down, because we've got to splice in a few beautiful, wonderful trunks. It's just going to create more depth. See, now if you watch the video, just to get a gist of what's happening, and if you're going to paint along, you'll know why I'm doing things, because you know how it's turned out and how it's going to turn out and what you need to do. But at the moment, if you're just watching it from the word go, you're not quite sure what's up the road ahead. So giving yourself the opportunity to watch the video allows you to know what's up the road ahead.
It's always handy to know what's up the road, isn't it?
And this is just something a beginner can grasp and learn how to do and develop themselves from there. I mixed up some black and burn umber and a little bit of white in there just to scratch in some tall trunks. I had my camera on when I thought it was off, and I had it off when I thought it was on. So I found some footage to get these scrapped in. It's only a little bit. So we're going to push some of these in through all that foliage. Just getting a few more here. Just nice and straight. Now I've added a bit more white to that colour, and I just put a bit on there. It's just some of them I want a bit of a ghosty, not all of them, just some of them. Just more pale. Now I'm grabbing the yellow oxide, yellow ochre, and I want to just thinly get some of that out, and I want to grab some of that green oxide and mix that with that just to gingerly filter in a dead green colour. And within all this stuff, I want to come to the middle and about halfway down on each some of these, just where the dead stuff is. Usually the dead stuff's at the bottom of all your canopy stuff, I find. So I want to come across the openings there. And analyse it. If you feel you've put too much of this in there, grab the green oxide on its own and just stamp it back out. That will do it. Now grabbing the cadmium yellow and your green oxide, you want to make a yellow green of that. Want these very hairy. Coming over that dark bit, cascading down and just separating everything. Now they're not realistic trees, but the vibe of them is good enough to make an art piece look wonderful, I feel. And you can see the way that yellow oxide, or the yellow ochre, the dead twiggy colour, how it adds a bit more of a realistic vibe to your canopy there. Sinking those trunks back. Now I want to kind of dribble some of this down over the darks there. I'm looking, I'm analysing, I'm mixing a little bit more yellow into that mix, because after looking and analysing, I want a bit more, just in some bits, I want to kind of make things, because at the moment they're sort of in front and behind, but some of them are kind of looking confused. So let's see how more yellow this is. And just radiate that ball and you can see what that's done. Watch this here. Pushing that back, putting this on top of there. Where are we? Bit above on its own as well. Don't be shy to go beyond its point. Just not too much. I want him to come in front of that bit there. I've finished that bit for now. I want to come to the bottom bit. Picking up my craft paint, my soft titanium white. Watch how this putter on a brush puts it on compared to that flat brush I used in the beginning. This will be so as I can get everything to blur into there the way I want it to. Get that over that. Okay, we'll quickly get the water in there. I haven't washed my brush, I'm just picking up the raw sienna there on the brush, and I want to get that across the horizon line and just bring it down. So with a bit of luck this will come across here. Beautiful. This is the earth hitting the water. Just like that. The white's going to help it smear. Okay. There we go. Now just bring this into your water area there. It's the water. What I want to do is get a bit of a bank out here. So I'm just going to get some more of that paint. Stamp it on. There we go. There's our bank. I'll maybe put a bit of burnt umber in that as well. There we go. Because the light paint on the canvas is going to lighten it up a bit. Because that's where my other tree's going to be. Now I need to wipe that brush, and I just want to gently water fire that a bit. The water and the land will be fixed up. This is just getting the values there. Now I'm grabbing a brush, something that's quite, see the bristles on it here? They're quite forceful. They're not weak and floppy. They're forceful. Let's call the word forceful. I want to smear some of this paint. So I'm grabbing that raw sienna. I'll get most of it off the brush. I want to come along. Probably what's on the canvas is going to help as well. And I want to kind of fade that into that green a bit. Making the bank there, because it's two different variants, so different from each other. And I was working out, I was doing a lot of analysing and working out myself, how am I going to do this? I just kept thinking, stopping and starting, instead of trying to rush and hope for the best, you know. I'm not worried here. I'll put it there anyway, but I'm not worried there because I'm going to have another bank that's a bit forward than that. But I'm just trying to marry this now. Now I've got to dry this, otherwise it's going to dig up. Now I'll simply put these reflections in the water here so as everything can go over it. Picking up the dark viridian green and maybe a little bit of the perylene that's mixed with it, just to get the dark value in our reflection. I want to get it on and start pulling it down, okay? And each time we do this, we're simply going to dry it so we can add the other colours on there. Put it on and pull it down, just so it's in a up and down motion. I'm just trying to work it out how far. I need all this on there pretty much to get the lighter colours to work. A lot of this is going to be covered. Pretty much looks green, doesn't it?
Well, it is green.
Yeah, I know it's green, but I'm just saying. I've dried it. I'll put a bit of tape there so I don't have to keep mucking around. I'm only going to do the reflection from this half because that tree's not in there yet. And we'll grab some of the green oxide just to get variants of colours. So I want to, they're nice, long and distorted. We best leave a bit of darkness there, so don't go too. What I'll do is I'll probably come upwards. Now I'm grabbing that again with the yellow in it, just to highlight it. Try and get head on, and we want to start getting some distorted vibes of highlights in there, long ones and skinny ones.
Now try and get them straight up and down here and you're going crooked a bit.
Yeah, I know, it is a bit difficult, but bear with me. Grabbing another flat brush, just anything flat, just something to resemble the trunks. But hopefully you can get it to get the colour mixed up a bit more, those two there, and a bit of white it was. There we go, and a bit of water now. Just something you can chisel down, not too fat. I'm just coming from the tape, getting them nice and straight and just pulling down. At the top of the tape, where the tape is, get it thicker, but nothing needs to be down this far. Sorry, little buddy, I took the tape off without you seeing it. Now, I want to just bring this ground stuff down so we can cover all this with some fog. So just simply using the green oxide, just here and there, I just want to get some little bushes like in front of all that stuff down there. Because why I want to put this on first is because I want, if any fog's going to hide it, it's already there.
Oh, look at that. Works good when you do that, Ian.
Does, eh? So I've just got the highlighted colour of that, which was the green oxide and the yellow, cadmium yellow, just to highlight some of that. Now for the fog, we want that reasonably dry so we can scrumble some fog over that, the same colour as this. And what I mean by this is this, let's grab some new stuff of that over here, and the white. So I want to come along and just mist that up over that water there. You want it a bit dark where that is, because there's a big, there we go, to about here. I'm getting mainly the top bit here done first, and then where it's hitting the reflections in the water, I'll come down there and change that up a bit. So I'm going to grab a flat brush, grab the dirt colour, and I just want to dance over the water just to hide that line. That's why I didn't put tape there in the beginning, but Just hiding that line there. Up into there. So back to the foggy colour, get it on there and then start tracing it over, down over the water there. And we've got a better transition now. See how we did that?
Yeah, that's looking foggy now.
Now, if you're a member of my YouTube channel, be sure to check out the community tab. I post all pictures of my up and coming thumbnails, and you are the only guys that see them. The patrons, they get early releases of all my video tutorials before they're released out on YouTube. Everyone still gets to watch them, but patrons get that extra perk of early content, knowing what's coming up days and weeks ahead. I'm just going to bring this down past there onto the water, look into my monitor and just see how it's faring. I'm just grabbing the Acrylic green and quickly darkening up the very guts of this here. And I want to put some foreground trees in now, and these trees are going to be a little bit more vivid than those greens. I don't want them to be the same flavour. And in doing that, I do want to get some of that into the reflections, and I'll add colours into the reflections as I go. Now I'm grabbing the Viridian green for the next green, and I want a little bit of yellow in it, not too much, but this is going to make it nice and vivid, bit of a different foliage. And here I want to get these right where I want them. Totally different looking tree. I want to come around that dark paint that I put there. Now grabbing our script liner, we're going to add some more trunks into this. Just before we do, to make it easy, we want to get this colour in there as well, all scattered through it. I've got to get that yellow down there too later, so that's all right. So I'm just getting these trunks in now, so I want to grab them from about here and just get them nice and tall. Make sure they're opaque enough, and nice. Always get a couple next to each other, they just look good that way. Now get some of these a bit ghostly like as well, and simply indicate some of them in the water as well. Now just to finish that off, we're grabbing the Viridian green and the cadmium yellow, and we're going to make a nice vivid highlight for those trees there. Make our trees with this. Now I do want to go more yellow. No, well, it's going to be yellowy vivid, but just to really do this. Just get some of this colour into your reflections as well. That'll do. I've got a flat brush and I've got the raw sienna mixed with a little bit of burnt sienna, And where are we? This, I want to make kind of, get this all traced in and out of there. Bit of land here. Brushing it in and just smearing that there. I've just dabbed in some perylene green there, and I'm grabbing the green and I'm just kind of putting little bits of ground cover down here. Just using my dagger brush to get some kind of little vibe of that down there. So I've dried it. I picked up that same colour, the raw sienna and the white, with a dry brush, and I want to get this pretty much misting over all that bank, setting it back a bit, hiding it. I'm just grabbing some more, and I just want to get a line of it across the water here, just like so. Now I've just got a flat brush and some burnt umber, and I see this bit here. I just want to cut that back, like so. Come down here. My tree's going to go there, and I want this just to come into the water there. This can be all scratchy. Bits of land. So it looks a bit real. We've got to get a nice chunk of this right out here. Nice and flat, keep it flat, and then come back. All the way across the front. Just there. I've dried that, and I just want to get a tree now, a big swampy tree. So from about here, covering that up, and maybe out to about here. Something out there, something right up there, way up there. Couple of branches coming off it. And maybe something here. Quickly block this in. Try and get that swampiness vibe about it, going into the water and there. I think we need to get it a bit flat to make it look real. There we go. Okay, I've finished blocking that in. I'm just grabbing some of the raw sienna in my brush. It's still a bit mixed with that colour there. And I want to just kind of get bits of light hitting this. Somewhere there. And I want, you know, all these roots type of stuff like this. Knotted around, bits of light hitting there. Putting a little bit of white with that raw sienna-y mix. Some of them are gingerly more than others. Just grabbing some of the raw sienna just to give some of this ground some life. Life on it. Just staining it with some white, just so as I could feel. Can I have a look just to see how that's faring? Is that too bright? It is a bit too bright, so I'm going to dim it down a bit. See how they look a bit, or this looks a bit doot, doot, doot. You just grab the darker colour again and you simply soften them back down again. So sometimes you have to do a couple of passes just to find your vibe and get it a bit more realistic looking, a bit more wowish. Now I'm just going to finish the water off, grabbing some white and just a little bit of the raw sienna. Will come from that mist right along there. So I want to rest this onto the stick and just simply get bands of light and movement on the water coming across like that. Right across, right off the painting. We could probably have right there like that. Coming up, I'm coming up, back down. This stick just makes it so much straighter. Right down there. I want a nice big glare there. Bits of stuff. I'm just grabbing Viridian Green on my filbert brush and coming right in front of this now.
There's another plane, Ian. So many planes.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll give that a dry and we'll just finish that off. Just picking up the green oxide and coming down now on top of all that stuff we just put on there. Now if you do this painting, there's so many variants you can do on it. You don't have to do this big tree. You can have it just that one background and a lake. Okay, you don't have to do everything I do. Do what you're capable of doing. You know, I might show you a tutorial, let's say. And in that tutorial, you might be able to do 50% of it, but not all of it. Just do the bits you can do. Now just to make this different, I'm going to mint that up a bit.
It's definitely a different vibe to the background trees, Ian.
Yeah, well that's what you need to do when you do a lot of trees. This is just some kind of, I don't know, let's say maybe some swampy, willowy one. So in saying that, I'll let these bits straggle down a bit, like so. See what I did there?
Oh yeah, you're onto it there, Ian. You're onto it.
Oh, am I? And it's just got that vibe of a... Get it on there and drag the end ones down. Of a willow tree, I suppose. Different tree to what's out there. Okay, I'm just going to sign this and then we'll reveal it and whack a frame on it. Now, like I said, check out the links in the description below. If you're a member, check out the community tab. See what perks you're missing out on. And if you're a Patreon, all patrons get early access to my videos before they're released out on YouTube. Go, that's not too shabby. We've got a beautiful swamp lake tree scene. Lots of facets going on there. Just do the bits you want to do, okay? There might be a lot there for somebody, but you don't have to do all of it. And I know you can do it. Well, that was a full-on and exciting tutorial. I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, you tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Also have a look at this other video of mine up there. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.